Previously on Driver versus Driver.
Scott. Yes.
Wow.
Designers were given the option to team up or go it alone, which saw a new team formed while others headed home.
I'm sorry you missed the cut.
Ultimately, decisions proved crucial as the Black Hornet team survived, while Tim Swiss's survival was short-lived. Four months have passed since the last elimination. Over that time, our final designers worked with Wilson engineers from afar, continuing to improve their drivers based on suggestions from the judges.
Good to see you again.
The designers now return from their families, full-time jobs, and studies to continue working and receive updates from the team at Wilson.
They had simulations showing everything from stress analysis to technical and performance aspects, and some concerns like, the weak points of this construction.
Yeah. So Infinitrack, right?
Yeah, it looks great.
In its original form, Roswell's Infinitrack weighting system was aligned straight up and down the midline of the club. After numerous tests, Wilson engineers determined it was a feature that needed to be tweaked.
It was noticed right away that you weren't going to get a great movement in the heel and toe direction. So the decision was made to turn that 45 degrees, in which case we are able to get a much longer throw or a much longer distance of movement in the heel and toe direction and maintain most of the front to back potential for weight movement in that feature.
My driver has remained pretty similar to my pitch from when I first started the show, and the only thing that really changed was with the feedback from the judges, how they were saying it would be great if there were that fade and draw buys. And so we added those in, and I think it works. Can't wait to start moving forward and start eliminating everybody one by one until there's only the final two.
We looked at how to make it more appealing, and from the standpoint of how could we make it blend? How could we give it better lines? So it really, what we've done over the past couple months is putting together a product that actually has really good lines to it and just building off our technology that we had to get a finished product.
We were all together on the same page about it makes more sense to put the weights on the inside, and it makes more sense to attach the crown with a one-piece clip in the back. When I saw the 3D prototype version, I think the shape looks really good. The look on the inside, the placement of the weights looked really good. It is becoming more of a reality that I can pull this off.
Hello, designers.
Hello.
Hey, man.
A lot has happened since we saw you last. You've been working with Wilson engineers to refine your designs based on the feedback you got from our judges. And today, you will finally reap the benefits of all of your hard work.
Nice.
Designers, today we have a little surprise for you. Gentlemen, come meet your new driver.
Ooh. Ooh. Very nice.
Hey, oh, there's mine.
There it is, Jimmy.
Just being able to see it, like not in a computer, not a 3D print, but just a hittable prototype that's almost done. It was just really mind-blowing to me, and I just couldn't wait to hit with it and just try it out.
Wow. Nice.
So to actually see this model and know where we left off just a couple months back, and seeing this being created so quickly was amazing.
Awesome. Wow, really cool.
Okay, designers, I know you are super excited about seeing your new drivers, but I don't know if you realize these are revolutionary. Normally, to get to this process, you're looking at a few months, but Wilson have teamed up with the team at EOS North America, and these drivers were produced in a single week.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
For the first time ever, we created titanium prototypes in the USA that are truly hittable.
And by the way, this is essential because it gives all the eggheads down at Wilson a much larger window to study your designs, collect data. You know, this is no longer just theoretical designs on computer screens. These are actual driver heads.
Nice. Right. Yeah.
Recently, we were at True North Golf Club in Scottsdale, Arizona, with our PGA Tour professionals, Kevin Streelman, Brendan Steele, Ricky Barnes, and Troy Merritt. We asked them to put your drivers to the test. And here's what happened.
It's pretty awesome that you can do this 3D printing and be able to hit the driver. And then I think that makes it so much easier for the designers to get the feedback and then be able to adjust things moving forward.
The ability to quickly make changes with the 3D printing is truly revolutionary. To get our feedback to them being able to immediately go work on it, that night or, the next day, it's very impressive.
I think it's going to be, kind of the next wave of how to test drivers in a quick and efficient manner and get somewhat of an idea of how the driver is actually going to perform.
Without further ado, let's see what you guys think.
With hopes of impressing the judges and securing a spot in the final 5, our 6 designers will observe the Wilson staff tour pros testing their drivers to see what they think.
It's the coolest thing, designing something, making something, seeing it being produced, but then also having the PGA Tours actually using your driver, that's like some next level stuff there. I'm very curious and interested to hear what other people have to say about it, and it can't get any better than seeing PGA Tour players hitting your driver and giving their opinions to me.
Let me introduce to you the Magnus by Jimmy Hoon. He has 3 primary design features. The central part of the driver, he has the tri-lock weighting system, which consists of heavy and light weights to adjust launch conditions for flighting the golf ball. Also, he'll have adjustments on both the heel and the toe to allow you to weight the heel and toe properly. On the top of the crown, we have 2 aerodynamic sculpted features, as well as a unique trapezoidal head shape. So, you're up.
Cool. Well, the first thing that jumps out is obviously head shape. That's critical to us as the golfer. I like when it's something down the middle that we can kind of focus on hitting the center of the face, because that's most important as for hitting a driver. And obviously adjustability in today's market's critical, so it's great to have both heel toe and back and front weighting. Let's give it a shot. It's not bad. I like that center line behind the ball. It's easy to line up. There it is.
Nice hit, Kevin.
That's a strong flight.
Did you find anything that was on the negative side?
I would just say the shape is unique. Unique bad, unique good. Depends on ball flight to me.
Give it a shot here and see how it flies.
Pretty good, a little better than I even thought. To me, it sits to my eye a little bit shut. Sometimes you get heads that no matter how much you open them, they still kind of look like they're sitting shut or however little loft there is on them. So that'd be something to maybe look at.
You hit that last one, 320.
Well, that's a good start.
I'm still so shocked that we have a 3D printed club and we're gonna be able to hit it. I mean, I'm kind of mind boggled by that.
Do you find that framing of the ball helpful?
Yeah, I always like something on the top.
Okay.
Whether it's framing the ball or just setting up square to the ball, whether it's a logo, with a W or a WS. So, but yeah, something to frame the ball, at setup is huge for us. That ball is hit.
302.
See if we can maneuver this head a little bit.
That was really good.
Maybe draw?
Yeah, say 2-yard draw.
That's a good one.
Infant draw.
That's a good one.
That's a draw.
That looked good.
10 at 22.
Those both are solid. Troy, you're up, buddy.
Well, I mean, it's similar to your guys' natural flights anyway. I mean, Steely a little bit higher. Ricky always hit that low bullet. I mean, we just saw that with this one. I think that's enough said for me. I mean, if it's going to be similar to what you already have, or if not better, then why not go ahead and throw it right in the bag, correct? There's a nice high fade, Tim.
High little cut.
Fades find fairways. I try to trick myself into thinking that.
I think better than we expected with a 3D printed model.
It looks really nice. I like the look of it.
Yeah,
nice.
I swung really hard at that one, could you tell?
Yeah.
For me, this one does set down a little sharp for my liking, but it's not hard for me to open it up. And I know you can do that. You can change the settings and you can open up that way. But even if I can't find that right setting, I can always myself open it up, and that's big for me. I don't have to play something that to me looks closed. Just hitting 2 shots is something that I would consider taking out to the golf course and seeing what it has out there.
I feel really good about the feedback, and I think that my driver, they really liked it, performed well, and the other people, they have a lot to work on, so we'll just have to wait and see how the other people do.
The next designer looking for positive feedback from the Wilson Staff Tour Pros is industrial designer Evan Hoffman from San Diego, California.
I got a little nervous. I was hoping it was gonna be durable enough, gonna be good enough, gonna live up to the expectations I had for it.
This is Cortex from designer Evan Hoffman. And his idea was all about trying to use as much carbon fiber as possible to free up titanium for structural purposes and to also create extra weight for kind of a rear track here. We'll have a slidable weight and also a launch track here for launch adjustment. On the top, it also has a carbon crown, again, trying to get as much weight out of the top of the club and move it down to where those weight tracks are.
Wow. That was a nice flight there.
Other one.
Man, that feels great right there. Very stable. Ooh. Let's try, Steely.
I mean, the look is obviously different with the crown, but the overall shape of the head is pretty good. You know, I don't see anything really strange about it. The toe looks pretty good to me. I know you said it's a little bit more rounded, and it is. It kind of heads out this way a little bit. I personally don't mind that. And it doesn't seem like it's gonna set really shut, which is positive. I know Troy will enjoy that.
Nice.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I mean, the sound and feel of this one is incredible. Yeah, impressive.
Both hit there.
That's nice.
Like it.
Yeah.
I think the sound and the feel is really good, and the shape is nice. So, I mean, it's definitely intriguing moving forward.
Yeah, I like the look of this as well. I think you're right with the toe kind of branching out there a little bit.
That is part of my design in order to keep the weight on the outermost part of the driver for more forgiveness. So it's kind of a battle between looks and function, but I think we'll be able to find a happy medium.
Seems like the best sound of all of them.
Yeah, the sound. I mean, the first couple that we hit, you could tell the difference between sound from sitting over there and then actually hitting it. But this one and the last one we just had, the sound is a lot. It's a lot similar from there to here, which is nice. I missed that one slightly, but still.
Come on, Troy.
Got going a bit. That'll find the fairway still. I like the look of it. I mean, I like the feel of it. I like the sound of it. I enjoyed it.
I was feeling really confident. There wasn't too much negative. It was mostly positive reaction. The ball was going real far, real straight. Even on some off-center shots, the ball was still going relatively straight and staying in the fairway. So I'm pleased with how that turned out.
The next designer hoping his driver will impress the Wilson Staff Tour Pros is 42-year-old mechanical engineer Jeremy Chell.
I live in Madison, Wisconsin with my family, my wife Sarah, and my 2 daughters, Samantha, age 12, and Sonia, who is 8 years old. Sarah is a human resources professional and accountant. Samantha is a talented sketch artist. And Sonia is just starting to learn how to play piano, following in the footsteps of her grandfather. I'm really fascinated by all kinds of mechanical marvels, bicycles, scooters, and project cars. One project I'm currently working on is a better electric skateboard. Then I started to get into scooters, basically through the process of finding rummage sale scores and fixing up bikes and buying, selling, and trading. I ended up with 1958 Mitsubishi Silver Pigeon, which is my favorite. Take my daughters out on rides on some of the bikes and scooters when I get a chance, but I think they're really gonna love it when they get a little older and they can take this stuff out on their own someday.
Let me introduce you guys to Jeremy Chell's design called the Launchpad. And his big idea is to have an adjustable driver that you adjusted on the inside. So essentially you pop the hood to the car and you get inside the hood and you make some adjustments to weighting, and it gives you a bigger ability to move the weighting far away from the center of gravity. So this is the Launchpad, and Brendan, I believe it's your time to give it a go.
Wow, okay. Wasn't expecting to see that. That's interesting. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, I know a lot of us internally weight our clubs anyway.
So good luck hitting first.
So maybe
the
there's
hood's not
something
gonna
to
pop
that.
off, is it? Yeah, the hood's not gonna pop off.
All right, so let's see how it goes.
It actually has a better sound and feel than any of the other ones to me.
It's a little more of that dead sound we were talking about, the more of that thump.
It's high ball speed.
That 307.
And the actual shape of the head, to me, is pretty good. It's pretty traditional.
I mean, if you take the hood out of it, it's pretty traditional.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really sounds good.
That sounds good.
Yeah, pretty nice. Give that a shot, Ricky.
All right.
Come on, Ricky.
Yeah.
Really nice.
This is solid.
Those are good numbers.
Troy, give it a whack, bud.
That'd be really good for me. What are we fastening it with here?
There'll be removable fasteners that you take out, and then the hood will actually hinge up and then be removable altogether.
You don't have to take that to a garage or anything, do you? You can do that yourself. You know, it's similar to kind of some of the things that we've seen over the past few years. To me, it just seems more like a compressed head. You know, it's a little bit smaller to me. I kind of like it the other way a little bit better. That felt really nice.
Numbers were good.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what that feels like when you hit a draw?
I like the idea of truly getting inside the head to make changes. You know, we still do that today. I mean, to be honest, in my drivers, I purposefully put some goop, you know, inside to do some draw bias on top of all the stuff we can do outside. So this allows us to not even have to worry about
That was exactly where he was coming from, the same thing.
Oh. Yes.
Pop the top.
I think we just popped the hood.
Pop the hood.
You see
your
oh, my.
Way to go,
Let's see it, Streels.
Oh, my.
Oh. Yes.
Pop the top.
I think we just popped the hood.
Pop the hood.
Yes.
I was thinking in the back of my mind that while this thing could easily fly apart for any number of reasons, and of course somebody was able to knock the top loose, but I was surprised it held together as long as it did.
That was it's a
The
nice
numbers
play.
were good.
They're pretty good.
Numbers were good.
Wow.
Oh, my.
Way to go,
Let's see it, Streels.
Oh, my. Well, while we've got the hood open,
There you go. You can take a look
might
inside.
be a good opportunity to just kind of take a look at least, you know, in his thinking about being able to get the kind of the weight ports, you know, kind of spread out. Right now with this prototype, we're working on actually, you know, tapping the carbon fiber and being able to get those fasteners in there, and that'll be the next step in the design process, and then all of the cosmetics that go with it as well, like to kind of really make the crown blend in.
That to me was clearly the best sound we've tested today.
The dullest one that we were talking about before, that was the dullest of the four, for sure.
Dull good or dull good?
Dull good. It was pretty clear that that was the best sound.
Okay. There was no ting, that's for sure.
Yeah, and whether the other ones will change as we move forward, and you know that may happen, but this right now is by far the best sound.
On the negative side, concerns with the crown being that big and that carbon and surrounded. I mean, did you guys have any issues with setup the way it looked today?
I think the thing that worries about us most is, yeah, will it do that during a tournament or doing, yeah, or just, you know, crack.
I was already aware that there's this one very important engineering detail that needs to be worked out, and so it's a pretty simple assignment for me and the Wilson team of what to work on.
The next designer hoping for better results from his testing session is Alan Zade from Brooklyn, New York.
I was so excited because I've never designed any product in such a short time and get that kind of feedback from professionals right away.
Let me introduce you guys to Dial Shot by Alan Zade. He has a very interesting background in watchmaking. He's all about precision. So if you go back to grade school and think about coordinate systems, if you guys studied that or not, this is a movable weight system on the bottom of the club, and you can slide the weight along with it. So you can orient it any of these 180 degrees around and slide the weight back and forth. Other than that, it's very traditional and it's very unique. So Ricky?
Can it tell time?
Quite possibly.
I don't mind the look of the head at all. Pretty traditional. The name of it, yeah, but if it could tell time and play golf, hey, get us home to all of our wives on time.
Why not?
Yeah, well, let's give it a whack.
Uh-oh.
Well, let's hit number 2.
There you go.
Better.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
So what do you think?
All you, buddy.
All right. This is going to be interesting to see what it looks like when there's a little more in there. I can open this one up nicely as well. I like that. That's always the first thing I notice. See if we can dial up another one here. I think I broke it for you, Steely.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, give it one good hit, you know. Let's see what kind of man you are.
I also like the shape of this head. I think it looks really good. I'm very intrigued by the bottom of it. To me, it screams low spin and some cool adjustabilities. Definitely a few things rattling around in there.
Yeah.
How does that one feel in the hands?
Feels a little broken. Just a little.
Let me take a look at that.
I gotta crack.
See what we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big thing here, Streel, so there's a lot of engineering challenges that we need to go back through to fix on these with some of the designers. We're hitting a lot of shots here, and you guys are the best, you know, on the planet at doing that. And we're putting a lot of stress on a 3D printed part. So it's amazing that they've held up the way they are, but you know, 3D printing is actually done in layers, and sometimes those designs can, you know, a layer can fall across a design feature and cause a little bit of an issue, and we're working through solving some of those challenges. So that's kind of maybe what's going on with the club right now.
Change up.
It did.
I'm going to say, thanks for leading us off, Ricky. You got a couple good hits out of that and some good feedback, but that's probably the last one we need to take for that one.
Yeah.
All right, guys, you talked about the cool factor of the shape and the technology. Let's talk about the reality. You saw the speeds, you saw the performance. Negatives?
I mean, yeah, obviously the performance the way it sits right now is not very good, but again, it's 3D printed. It doesn't have the adjustable weights. We don't know exactly how it's going to turn out in the end. I think all that stuff can be overcome. It is a cool design, and I think the adjustability is great. I think the look is great. So it would be interesting to see, you know, as it becomes a final kind of finished product or in the next phase of the prototype, how it actually plays.
The story of adjustability spoke really well to them, and they responded to that very well. And I thought that was really what I wanted to hear from them.
This one, for me, I'd like to see in the next stage, because I really want to see what that dial looks like and how you adjust it based on that. I mean, I've got it in my head. You hit it, and the dial spins around, and where it stops, that's where you need to play it. Can't have that happen. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, just for me, it's one that I want to see go through the next process.
Gav?
I'm here with these guys say. I'd like to see this driver at the next stage and really mess around with the performance of the back of that driver. But I'm not a big fan of the name.
The name's not doing it for you. All right, well, that's good.
Oh, I like the dial went up.
Partnering with Wilson is very important to us. EOS is an innovation leader in the additive manufacturing space. So partnering with like-minded organizations that are always pushing the cutting edge of innovation is really exciting to us at EOS.
Gentlemen, welcome to EOS. So from what we understand, it takes about 3 months right now to go from an idea to a functional hittable club. With EOS technology, you can basically get that whole process done in 3 to 4 days.
So that's the transformation change. You not only save on time, but also you save on potential design and reiterations, and your product to the market could be a lot faster than it would traditionally have been.
The technology that we use at EOS is all powder-based, so that allows us to even use metals in our additive manufacturing process. So we start with a metal powder. This powder is melted together with a laser to create a final part. So another way to think about it is there is no prototyping phase anymore. There is a design and production phase which can be quickly iterated to make your final part.
3D printing is disruptive because it wants you to basically throw everything you know out the window, start from scratch, and make it digital. And Wilson isn't afraid to do that. And that's why it's really exciting for us to be involved with a project like this, because most companies are trying to make us conform to their process instead of taking the technology we can offer and adapting their process to our technology.
Our next designer awaiting feedback is mechanical engineering student Tim Slama, who juggled his studies at Oregon State University and progressed his driver design in the months leading up to this point.
I started golf from a really young age. When I was 2 years old, my dad gave me golf clubs, and I used them as a cane to learn how to walk. As the time progressed, I practiced every day with my dad and then my sister. I competed for my high school as well. I got a varsity letter all 4 years, and I actually had a couple full scholarship offers to play golf in college. Ultimately, I was going to college to go to school, and it was a really tough decision, but I chose to come to Oregon State. It's a phenomenal school. The College of Engineering here is unparalleled. Both my parents went to Oregon State University, and my sister currently goes here. She's a sophomore on the Oregon State women's golf team.
I think it's really exciting that Tim's competing on this show because he's been involved with golf his whole life and wanted to design golf clubs and be a mechanical engineer. This is really exciting for him and for our family.
To be able to play golf with my sister, just in the afternoon and head out to the golf course and get in 9 holes, I feel super lucky and grateful to have that opportunity to be so close to my family and attend an awesome school.
For Tim, this is a huge opportunity. This is where he wants to spend the rest of his life in, and I think that this competition is a great way for him to get involved in the golf world.
Let me introduce you guys to Roswell. This is by Tim Slama, and it has 3 unique features in this driver head. The first one is the unique 8-shaped Infinitrack weighting system. It's the first infinitely adjustable weight track on the market. The second one is the rumble ridges that are placed in the heel and the toe that create an aerodynamic boundary layer trip zone to make the club head flow through the air faster. And the third one, which cannot be shown on TV, but is a trabecular crown design. It's a new lightweight structural design to take all the available weight into the track system. So, Troy?
This is an interesting weight system in the back. I mean, I don't get into the technicalities of the golf club too much. I just want to set it down. I want to hit it, tweak a little bit, and see if I can take it out on the golf course. But I mean, I've never seen anything like that. You guys?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I think that's a really cool setup. I've never seen anything like that. I'm sure in the past it's been hard to be able to put something that's that large in there and still get the weight to be right. Because I know that's been a problem in the past, having adjustability when you have a lot of different adjustability or something that's too big. But,
not crack the face.
And not crack the face. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, it gives you a lot of different ways to set it up, whether if you have a couple of them in the back, you know, to change the spin or more up front or whatever. It gives you a lot of different adjustabilities.
Cool.
I really like the shape. To me, it fits my eye nicely. I can open it up very easily.
Nice and smooth. High fade.
I really like the shape on it, I really do. For me, if it had a little bit of a higher face, since that's kind of what we've been used to, you know, that'd be my only critique on it. And I like the name the Roswell.
You like?
That's nice for a driver.
Sweet. These are the same guys that I'm watching on TV and the same guys I'm rooting for in tournaments. To see them like holding and hitting a club that like I had a part in making is super exciting for me.
That was
nice there.
And that was a perfect flight for me.
314.
Yeah, I mean, 10 in the mid-2000s is nice. I love the adjustability. To move that around that much on a driver, it just makes it individual to the athlete. Dang.
Without having any weights in it or moving them around, it's giving me the exact flight that I want to see. So that's always exciting. And then obviously, you know, dial in the spin and that kind of stuff later. But for me, that's really, really good.
Well, a lot of times if we're ever on a hole, you know, you're saying it now, and once I set it down, I'm sure I'll see it. But, you know, sometimes if we do want to see a little draw or fairway finder, we go to a 3-wood. So maybe there is something to not having that big, deep face and being able to still get the numbers.
Bam. Boom. Slow bullet.
Hit that one hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're used to having these things more, you know, parallel to the face. So I think it's really interesting to have them kind of at a diagonal.
Yeah. It's a trade-off, right? So he's got to decide, you know, how far does he want to get the weight away from the center of gravity?
Or get him closer.
Or get him closer and go with a different head. So it's trade-offs.
It was a really nice positive that my club didn't break. I felt somewhat confident after the players hit my driver, but there's still room for improvement always.
Pretty good.
The next 3D titanium prototype to be tested is the brainchild of two different designs. Chardon, Ohio inventor Scott Hack took his radically abstract downforce driver and joined forces with the South Floridian duo of Juan Biancardi and Walter Lund and their Black Hornet design, while keeping Walter and Juan's original adjustable hosel feature that can lengthen the driver shaft up to 1 inch. This driver has otherwise gone through a massive transformation, and the Wilson staff tour pros will decide if it was for the better.
At the end of the day, we want to create a driver that everybody can play. And if we get the feedback from the guys from the tour, even at this stage of that prototype is great.
This is the make or break, right? I mean, I think actually seeing ball flight and hearing what the pros are saying and whether or not they would play it or not really underscores the net worth of this particular product. I think we're going to learn a lot.
All right, here we go.
Well, first things first, Black Hornet is just an awesome name. It's a good-looking driver for me, maybe just towed in just ever so slightly, but like I said, I can open that up, not a problem. Seems like a lot of weights on the bottom of the club for my liking. I like it maybe a little bit more simpler. We'll have to test it, see how it goes.
Nice. Good sound there, too.
It is good.
Yeah, I mean, it feels good, sounds good.
So
It goes.
The visual on top of it, the intention of a 3-wood head shape, is that
290.
distracting? Because I think that's one of their design features that they would like to leave with some contrast.
Really, the top, as long as nothing's sticking out and trying to poke me in the eye, I don't really care what's up there. I want to see the face, and then that's pretty much it.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy.
Solid feel. It does
put numbers up. Yeah, it's good numbers.
Yeah, 50 smash.
Solid feel. I like that.
How about that shape?
It's a more modern shape. There's no doubt about it.
I still am struggling with I got what their presentation was, which is to basically give the average player the confidence because they hit a 3-wood so much better than they hit drivers. This doesn't apply to you guys. That's kind of his thing. But when I look at that, I just see it's still a very large driver, so I don't know if it accomplished that.
The whole thing is it's just easier to hit a 43-inch club than a 45-inch club at the end of the day. So you could have this adjustability, but we don't want to look at this big, long stem or something else going on like we said in the hosel. We'll just go get a 3-wood or a 42.5-inch 3-wood.
What you need.
Yeah.
That we like.
And for me personally, I hit 3-wood way worse than I hit driver across the board every time. I leave my 3-wood in the bag unless it's absolutely vital that I hit a 3-wood. So, I mean, I want to hit driver on every hole. So I don't need a driver that's more like a 3-wood because that's only going to hurt me. But that being said, I don't mind the shape of this head. I mean, it's a little distracting with obviously the carbon fiber and the different things that are going on here. But once you kind of blend that all in, that could be all right. So, and again, if it performs, we just don't really care. But for me, designing it like a 3-wood isn't going to help me. It just means I'm going to be re-teeing a lot more often.
The one thing that they didn't quite get is what we were trying to do with the 3-wood in the center, or a stacked head design, and trying to draw your eyes to the center of the club more than anything else. Because if you're going to hit that smaller head, you're going to zero that ball into the center of the club.
Oh, that might have popped.
That sounded a little different.
That was hit.
Yeah, I can't say I agree with the whole, I want to hit a 3-wood over a driver. We're here telling you as some of the best drivers in the game that we love hitting driver.
Right.
3-wood's tough too because you kind of want like high and soft off the ground and then low and hot off the tee, and that's really tough to come by.
There we go!
Hey, what'd you do?
$100. You had to catch it in the air. You had to catch it in the air. Well,
hit it once. You go, Hornet.
Bob, you're up.
No, here you go.
When
he did it.
Tape out,
No, it's just a really good example about, when you make combinations of material, there's a lot of engineering that goes into making sure these things stay together. And you could hear, do you hear the sound change?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This one sounds like a cowbell without the carbon fiber panel. So, that carbon fiber panel drives a lot of sound, makes it actually, I mean, those first few hits were amazing, right?
Still went 275.
Still did. Yeah, so there's a little bit of work here for the Black Cortex team and us to figure out about how do you keep that in. And it's probably largely driven around the geometry that they've chosen about the shape of this panel itself, and maybe they need to go back to the drawing board.
Interesting.
Yeah. Overall, the feedback was good. They have good feel. They look the face. There were a few concerns, but it's the reality. We need to try to move forward, and we need to try to improve this prototype and do another one.
And hey, they hit it a long ways, so that's pretty cool.
All right, gentlemen. Despite all the love and great feedback you received from the Wilson staff guys, one design will be eliminated. Our judges have a lot of data and feedback to consider from both the players and the Wilson engineers, so it's going to be a long night ahead. Why don't you guys take the night off, get some rest, and we'll see you back here in the morning.
Like that.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. It was a bit nerve-wracking. You know you're gonna wake up and somebody has to go home. I was nervous, of course. I think we all were.
To me, eliminations, it's stressful, stuff goes through your mind, anxiety. It's a very intense time, but also my other side says, eliminations is just getting me closer to the W, getting me closer to $250,000.
Going into the elimination, your heart starts racing, and although my driver performed well, there's still a chance that maybe the durability didn't live up to the engineer's liking, so there's always that kind of thought in the back of your head.
Welcome back, designers.
Thanks.
How'd everybody sleep last night?
Great.
Did anybody sleep last night? Well, as you know, this is a competition, and in the end, there can only be one winner, which means right now, one more design will be heading home. Judges, any final remarks for the designers?
So, Alan, the design, the players actually really enjoyed hitting it. The only problem was we found it was very low spin when they were hitting the shot. And a lot of that was the fact that there was an awful lot of mass of the club on top and not particularly much on the bottom. And I feel like there needs to be some more weight at the bottom to get that spin in the optimal range for some of the players. So, Tim, incredible feedback from the PGA Tour players. We've looked through the data, and we can't wait to see how that trabecular system can work, or if it works. And that's going to be another stage of is that all going to come together in a working driver? Something that we are really debating moving forward.
Scott, Walter, Juan, listening to Brendan Steele talk about the 3-wood aspect into your driver. He said that he doesn't hit the 3-wood very well. He wanted to keep his 3-wood in the bag. And listening to the weight distribution aspect of your driver, I don't think the normal everyday player knows anything about weight distribution or how to use it. But I have to say, on the positive side, your design looks beautiful. The fact that you were able to combine the two of yours, one that's futuristic, one that's more traditional, and you moved it into what you've created was fantastic. You have a great looking club, but not sure whether it's ready for mainstream yet. Jeremy, great job, by the way, on your design. However, when I first saw it, I said to these guys, that hood's coming off. And what happened? The first time we saw the pros hit it, what happened? That hood flew right off the club, which is a problem for me. However, the pros love the option of going inside the club and being able to weight it from inside the club. That is something that they do on their own when they're with their technicians and in the trucks. I thought that's a great aspect to your design. Again, moving forward, you have great potential. But how are you going to keep that hood from jumping off that club with as many times as you're going to hit a driver? That really concerns me. But great job.
Thank you. Evan, similar to what the tour players said, the judges all agreed that you had a very nice shape and it was something that really looked good. I've looked at the speeds that these players swing at, and to be honest, out of all the drivers we had today, the one I thought might lose pieces was yours. It didn't, which I think is a great first test to pass. But my real question is, when tour players are out in competition and they're swinging 127 miles an hour, can we get that product to meet durability requirements without having crackage and breakage? Jimmy. Well, first of all, congratulations on being back for season 2.
Thank you.
You don't lack confidence, I will give you that. One thing that did come up in the PGA Tour's eyes was the uniqueness of your shape. And for all tour players, and even for many amateurs, shape is a real important consideration. So I think the question that you're really gonna be faced with moving forward is the shape of your product more in line so that the general public will be able to pull the trigger and purchase it?
Well, judges, thank you for all the great feedback, but ultimately one must go home. So judges, I know this was, as always, a difficult deliberation. What is the final decision?
The design that is missing the cut is the Black Hornet. Scott, Walter, Juan, you guys did an unbelievable job coming together as a team and bringing it a long way.
Thank you.
There was just too much concern on the judges' side as well as the PGA Tour player side on the effectiveness of that 3-wood driver combination. Again, thank you for your hard work. You came a long way. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a tough moment, because we weren't prepared to go home this early. To get that news that, now is the time that you're leaving the show for good. It hits home and it hurts a little bit, it hurts a lot, actually.
For us to go that far without having the expertise in designing and making drivers was great.
Maybe it wasn't the final idea that they were looking for, but I think we did the best as we can as a team. It was hard, but at the same time, I feel good. I think we did great, all of us.
Next time on Driver versus Driver.
Welcome to the biggest spectacle in the golf equipment industry, PGA Demo Day.
For me, it's just all on how it looks.
Hit that good. I'm not sure how much time I'm gonna give them.
Having the feedback from Demo Day being taken into consideration is pretty daunting.
If it doesn't look solid, I may just walk right by it.